The alarm doesn't ring anymore. There's no point. The sun, weak and watery as it streams through the thin curtains, is the only clock we have now. It's 2025, and Britain feels like a different country. I'm in a small flat in Luton, but it could be anywhere. Manchester, Glasgow, Cardiff, the feeling is the same. A quiet dread hangs in the air, thick as the morning fog. The banks? They're gone. Just empty buildings with boarded-up windows like tombs on the high street. They collapsed years ago, taking everyone's savings with them. Now we live day to day, sometimes hour to hour, on what little we can get. It's a life lived on the edge, a tightrope walk with no safety net below. My name is Sarah and I'm a teaching assistant. Or I was. The schools are still open, but the pay is sporadic, unreliable. It comes in digital credits, but you can't spend those on everything. For the real stuff, the essentials, you need cash. And cash is king, a rare and precious metal. Every morning starts the same way. I check the cupboards, knowing what I'll find. A box of Nutri-Paste and a carton of Aqua Plus, which is just fortified water that tastes faintly of plastic. There's no milk, no bread, no fresh fruit. Those are luxuries from a forgotten time, things you only see in faded magazines from before the crash. It's a strange existence, remembering a world of choice when you now have none. The silence in the flat is the loudest thing. My son Leo, who's 10, doesn't chatter like he used to. He just sits at the small table, slowly eating his paste, his eyes looking older than his years. We don't talk about how things were. What's the point in reminding him of a life he barely remembers? A life of birthday parties with real cake, of holidays to the seaside, of just having enough. The stress is a constant companion. It sits on your chest, making it hard to breathe sometimes. You worry about everything. Will the power stay on? Will the cash machine have money today? Will Leo get sick from this processed food we're forced to eat? It's a heavy burden to carry every single day. Before I leave, I do a mental checklist. Not of things to buy, but of things to survive. I have my ration card, my ID, and the small, worn-out purse with the few coins I saved from yesterday. The city outside is quiet too. Fewer cars are on the road. Petrol is too expensive for most. People walk with their heads down, a silent army shuffling towards another day of the same struggle. There's a sense of shared hardship, but not always solidarity. Desperation can make people turn inwards, focusing only on their own family's survival. This is the new normal. A Britain running on empty, where the biggest challenge is just getting through to tomorrow. The walk to the cash machine is the most important journey of the day. It's a pilgrimage we all have to make. These machines are our only link to physical money, the lifeblood of our existence. They are controlled by the Government Disbursement Office, the GDO. You can only use them once a day, and the amount you can withdraw is tiny. 20 pounds, that's it, if it's working, and if it hasn't already run out. The queue starts forming before dawn, a silent, shuffling line of people wrapped in coats against the chill, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and anxiety. You see the same faces every day, a community forged in shared necessity. Standing in the queue is a lesson in patience. You wait for hours. No one talks much. What is there to say? We are all here for the same reason. We are all in the same boat. You watch the person at the front, holding your breath with them. Will the machine give them their money? You can tell by their shoulders. If they slump, the machine is empty. A collective groan ripples down the line, a sound of pure despair. If they walk away with a crisp 20-pound note, a small wave of relief follows. It means there's still a chance for you. It's a lottery, and the odds are never in your favor. The tension is unbearable. Today, I'm lucky. After a 2-hour wait, it's my turn. I slide my ID card into the slot, my hand trembling slightly. I type in my code, a sequence of numbers that feels more like a prayer. The machine whirs and clicks, the sounds echoing loudly in the quiet street. It feels like an eternity. Then, a single, clean note slides out. I grab it quickly, stuffing it deep into my pocket as if someone might snatch it away. This 20 pounds has to last. It has to cover food, the electricity meter, and anything else that might go wrong. It's an impossible task, A puzzle with half the pieces missing. But for a moment, just holding that note, I feel a flicker of security. Walking away from the machine, the relief is quickly replaced by the weight of responsibility. How do I make this money stretch? The calculations begin instantly. £5 for the electricity key. That leaves 15. The NutriPaste costs £2 a box. I need enough for me and Leo for a few days. That's at least 3 boxes, so £6 gone. Now I have £9 left. What about the water bill? Or a new pair of shoes for Leo whose trainers are falling apart? The maths never adds up. It's a constant draining mental exercise. This is the reality of our lives. A daily ritual of hope, relief, and the crushing arithmetic of poverty. Shopping isn't about choice anymore. It's about necessity. The high street is a ghost of its former self. Big department stores are boarded up, their signs faded and peeling. Bright, welcoming shops have been replaced by gray, functional GDO depots. This is where you go to spend your precious cash. There are no colorful displays, no tempting offers, no friendly shop assistants asking if they can help. It's a stark, impersonal experience. You go in, you get what you can afford from the approved list of items, and you get out. The joy of browsing, of treating yourself to something nice, is a distant memory. It's been stripped away, leaving only the bare bones of commerce. Inside the depot, the shelves are stocked with uniformly packaged goods. Everything is own brand, GDO approved. The food is all processed, designed for a long shelf life, not for taste or nutrition. You'll find tins of protein stew, packets of carb grain, and the infamous NutriPaste. There are no fresh vegetables, no fruit, no real meat or fish. The official line is that this food is scientifically formulated to provide all the necessary nutrients. But everyone knows it's cheap, synthetic, and barely edible. It leaves you feeling heavy and lethargic, never truly satisfied. It fills a hole, but it doesn't nourish your body or your soul. People move through the aisles like zombies. There's no chatter, no smiles, just the quiet hum of the strip lighting and the clatter of plastic baskets. Parents try to steer their children away from the single aisle of treats, chalky, sugary sweets that cost a fortune. I see a mother explaining to her little girl why she can't have the brightly colored sugar sticks. The girl's face crumples, and the mother's look is one of quiet heartbreak. These small daily denials are like 1,000 paper cuts. They wear you down, chipping away at your sense of dignity and your ability to provide for your family. It's a constant reminder of how much has been lost. I pick up my items, 3 boxes of NutriPaste, a bag of carb grain, and a small block of what is called Vita cheese. It's a rubbery orange substance that tastes of salt and chemicals. This is my weekly shop. As I stand at the checkout, the cashier, a tired-looking woman about my age, scans my items without a word. She takes my 20-pound note and gives me back a few coins in change. I guard those coins carefully. They might be enough to buy a mended pair of socks from the street market later. Leaving the depot, I feel no satisfaction, only a deep, gnawing emptiness. This isn't living, it's just existing. The kitchen table is the heart of our home, but it's a sad heart. This is where the reality of our diet really hits you. Preparing a meal used to be a creative, enjoyable process. I remember chopping fresh vegetables, the smell of onions frying, the simple pleasure of making a shepherd's pie from scratch. Now, mealtime is a chore, an exercise in making the unpalatable feel like a proper dinner. I open a packet of carb grain and boil it in water. It swells into a gray, lumpy porridge. Then, I heat up the protein stew, a thick brown sludge with mysterious chewy chunks in it. The smell is bland and slightly metallic. Leo watches me, his face impassive. He knows not to complain. He's a good kid, but I see the longing in his eyes when I talk about the food we used to eat. I try to make it better for him. "Look," I'll say with false brightness, "I'll grate some Vita cheese on top. It'll be like cheesy mash." He'll nod and try to smile, but we both know it's a lie. It tastes nothing like cheesy mash. The cheese doesn't melt properly. It just softens into greasy orange flecks. We sit and eat in silence, the only sound the scraping of spoons against bowls. Every mouthful is a reminder of our poverty, of our powerlessness. The health consequences of this diet are plain to see. People are constantly tired. Children have sallow skin and lack energy. Colds and coughs linger for weeks because our immune systems are weak. The GDO puts out posters with smiling families, telling us we are fueling Britain's future with these foods. It's a cruel joke. We are being starved slowly, filled with empty calories and chemicals, while being told it's for our own good. There's a constant, low-level hunger that never goes away, a feeling of being full but not nourished. It saps your will to do anything more than the bare minimum. Sometimes, to break the monotony, I use my imagination. I'll describe a meal to Leo as we eat our gray sludge. Tonight we're having a huge roast chicken, I'll say, with crispy roast potatoes and carrots and gravy. I'll describe the taste, the smell, the way the skin crackles. He closes his eyes and listens, and for a few moments, we can almost pretend. It's a small act of defiance, a way of keeping the memory of real food alive. We are trying to feed our minds even when we can't properly feed our bodies. But when I open my eyes and see the sad reality in my bowl, the pretense crumbles, leaving only the bitter taste of what is. Getting to work is, another daily battle. The job at the school is my only lifeline, the source of the digital credits that pay the rent and the electricity. But the school is 5 miles away and public transport is honestly a mess. The buses are old and unreliable and they run on a skeleton service. You can wait for an hour for a bus to show up, and when it does, it's already packed to the rafters. People are crammed in, standing shoulder to shoulder, the air thick and stale. Fares have to be paid in cash, and a return journey would take a huge chunk of my daily 20 pounds. It's a cost I simply can't afford. So, like many others, I walk. An hour's walk in the morning and an hour's walk back in the evening, whatever the weather. In the summer, it's just so tiring. In the winter, it's brutal. The rain soaks you through and the cold bites at your fingers and toes. I walk with my head down, part of a silent, trudging procession of workers. We are the walking poor. The roads are quieter now, but the silence is, eerie. It's not a peaceful quiet, but a sad one, a sign of a nation that has ground to a halt. The walk gives you too much time to think, to dwell on the unfairness of it all. At the school, the atmosphere is just as strained. The kids are listless, their concentration broken by hunger and worry. How can you teach a child about long division when their stomach is rumbling? We do our best, the teachers and I. We try to create a space that feels safe and normal, a little island of calm in a sea of chaos. But we are running on empty too. We don't have enough books, not enough pens, not enough of anything. We are just trying to hold the line, to give these children some small measure of education and hope before they are sent back out into the harsh reality of their lives. The walk home is the hardest part of the day. My body aches and my energy is just gone. All I can think about is getting back to the flat, back to Leo. Sometimes a car will drive past and for a second I'll feel a flash of anger. Who are these people who can still afford to drive? Government officials? Black market traders? It feels like we are living in two different countries. One for the few who have, and one for the many, like me, who have not. By the time I get home, I'm exhausted to my bones. The day has been a marathon of survival, and tomorrow I have to get up and run it all over again. This life puts an incredible strain on families. The constant pressure of not having enough money creates a tense atmosphere in every home. Arguments flare up over tiny things, like who used the last of the hot water or why a pair of socks has a hole in it. But honestly, it's not really about the socks or the water. It's about the stress, the fear, the feeling of being trapped. Parents feel a terrible sense of failure. You are supposed to provide for your children, to give them a better life than you had, but we can't even give them the basics. That guilt is a heavy weight to carry around every single day. I see it in the relationship between me and Leo. I try to be patient, to be a good mom, but some days the exhaustion is overwhelming. I snap at him for small things and then I feel awful afterwards. He has become so quiet and withdrawn. He doesn't play like other 10-year-olds should. He spends a lot of time just sitting, or reading the one book he owns over and over again. I worry about his future, about the kind of person he will become. growing up in a world where there is so little joy and so much hardship. This isn't the childhood I wanted for him. Relationships with neighbors and friends have also changed. In some ways, people pull together. You might share a bit of information which cash machine is working, or where you can find a cheap repair for some shoes. But there's a new distance, too. Everyone is so focused on their own struggle that there's little energy left for others. You can't invite a friend over for a cup of tea because you don't have any tea. You can't help a neighbor who is short on cash because you are short on cash, too. It's a lonely existence, living so close to so many people but feeling so isolated. The family unit, which should be a source of strength, is being tested to its breaking point. I see couples who barely speak to each other, worn down by the daily grind. I hear about teenagers running away, trying to find something better, only to discover that it's the same everywhere. We are all just trying to hold on to keep our families from falling apart completely. We cling to small rituals like my storytelling at dinner as a way to remember that we are still a family, that we still love each other, even when life is this hard. It's a constant battle to keep that connection alive. In a world this gray and controlled, any splash of color stands out. And lately, there have been whispers, murmurs in the cash machine queue, quiet conversations in the shadows of the GDO depots. People are starting to talk about a different way of doing things. They talk about the black market. It's a dangerous topic. The GDO has eyes and ears everywhere, and being caught trading outside the official system can land you in a lot of trouble. But desperation is a powerful motivator. When the system is failing you so completely, the risks start to seem worth it. The black market isn't a physical place. It's a network of whispers and secret handshakes. It's someone you know who knows someone else. It's about trading what you have for what you need. A mechanic might fix a water pump in exchange for a bag of real potatoes. A seamstress might mend a family's clothes in exchange for some antibiotics someone managed to get their hands on. It's a return to an older way of life, a system of barter and trade that exists in the cracks of the official economy. It's inefficient and risky, but it offers something the GDO can't: real goods. I heard about a man on the other side of town who has an allotment. He grows actual vegetables, carrots, potatoes, cabbages, real food. The thought of it makes my mouth water. People say he trades them for things he needs, tools, warm clothes, things like that. To get something from him, you need to have something to offer. I have nothing. I'm a teaching assistant. What skill do I have that's worth a bag of carrots? The thought is disheartening. It feels like another system where I am at the bottom, with nothing of value to trade. But the whispers persist, and they plant a seed of an idea. It's a spark of defiance. People are finding ways to survive outside the system. They are creating their own economies, their own rules. It's a sign that the human spirit is not completely crushed. We are resilient. We are resourceful. Even when the world tries to grind us down into compliant, paste-eating drones, we find ways to fight back, even in small, secret ways. These whispers are more than just gossip. They are the first signs of a quiet rebellion, a refusal to accept that this is all life can be. The idea that started as a whisper has begun to take root, literally. On a forgotten patch of wasteland behind a row of derelict houses, something amazing is happening. A group of people have started a community garden. They cleared the rubbish, turned over the soil, and planted seeds they had saved or traded for. At first, it was just a few people working in secret at dawn and dusk. But as the first green shoots started to appear, so did more people. The garden became a symbol of hope, a splash of vibrant green in a world of gray. I took Leo to see it one Sunday. It was incredible. People were working together, laughing and talking. Someone had rigged up a system to collect rainwater from the roofs of the empty houses. Someone else was building a makeshift greenhouse out of old plastic sheeting. They were sharing tools, sharing knowledge, sharing the work. For the first time in years, I saw genuine smiles on people's faces. They weren't just growing vegetables, they were growing a community. They were rebuilding the connections that had been broken by poverty and fear. We were welcomed in. An older man named Arthur showed us around. He gave Leo a small trowel and showed him how to weed around the young carrot plants. Leo's face, usually so serious, lit up with concentration and excitement. He was doing something real, something productive. He was helping to grow real food. I was given the job of watering the lettuce seedlings. As I watched the water soak into the dark earth, I felt a sense of purpose I hadn't felt in a long time. It was a simple task, but it felt meaningful. It felt like we were creating something good in a world full of bad. This garden is more than just a source of food. It's a school, a meeting place, a therapy session. People are learning skills, making friends, and supporting each other. They are proving that another way is possible. It's not a solution to all our problems. The garden is small, and the GDO could shut it down at any moment. But it's a start. It's a powerful act of defiance that says, we will not just survive on your terms, we will find our own way to live. It's a seed of hope planted in the dirt, and it's starting to grow. So, what does the future hold? It's hard to say. Life is still incredibly difficult. Every day is a struggle. The GDO is still in control, the cash machines still run empty, and the Nutri-Paste is still on the shelves. But something has shifted. The fear that once paralyzed everyone is slowly being replaced by a quiet determination. The community gardens are spreading. Little pockets of resistance and self-sufficiency are popping up all over the country. People are rediscovering the value of community, of skills, of working together. It's a slow, quiet revolution, happening on allotments and in whispered conversations. The biggest change is in our mindset. We have started to look to each other for solutions, not to the authorities who have failed us. We are building a new economy from the ground up, one based on trust and mutual support, not on scarce cash. It's fragile and imperfect, but it's ours. It's a system where an old woman's knitting is as valuable as a young man's strength, where a teacher's ability to read a story to a group of children is a currency in itself. We are remembering that wealth isn't just about money in a bank. It's about skills, community, and human connection. There is no easy fix. We can't vote our way out of this tomorrow. The system is too broken, too entrenched. But these small acts of defiance, these gardens and barter networks, they are creating cracks in the gray facade of the GDO's control. They are showing people that they have agency, that they are not just helpless victims. This gives us hope. Hope is a dangerous thing for those in power. It's a fuel that can power a revolution. It might not be a loud, violent uprising, but a quiet, determined movement to rebuild our society from the grassroots up. For me and Leo, life is still a tightrope walk. But now it feels like there might be a safety net being woven below us. A net made of community, shared work, and the promise of a real potato. I don't know if we will ever get back to the world we lost. A world of full supermarkets and holidays. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe we can build something different, something better, something more human. The sun is setting now, casting long shadows. But for the first time in a long time, I feel a glimmer of light on the horizon. It's faint, but it's there, and it's enough to keep going.